Hello, so I am going to start by drafting the fitting dress. I already have this all set up here, and I've taken my measurements, I've stabbed it through. I'm going to be doing 88 bust and 104 hips. So I've got it through there, through the crosshair, and I'm just going to start diving right in. I'm going to use an orange marker, so hopefully that shows up better than a pencil. So I'm going to start, I think, right this one. We'll start this way and we'll go around clockwise. So you line up the ruler with the line. Don't worry about the dots. You're just lining it up with the line. And this shows me 11. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to mark 11. And I'm going to be marking on this side of the ruler the whole way around. On this side where the numbers are. Don't switch back and forth. 37.5. 36. This is the shoulder dart. 35. The other side of the shoulder dart. The shoulder. 33. Now we're coming down to the arm's eye. 19. So it's just like a big giant dot to dot. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing this because some of it will come out of view anyways. And then I'll come back when we're joining all the dots together. I'm just seeing that the sun is really shining through here, and hopefully you can see because I don't have curtains that I can use. So don't mind my cord, actually. I'm just going to come around this side. Okay, so now what we do is we're going to draw to connect all the dots. So that actually, I didn't need to draw that line, but we are closing, making the dart here. And then these ones. And then you might get lucky and be able to draw it all on one. But if you aim for 3 dots at a time, that's good enough. And then aim for these 3 dots, ideally, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, so I will just finish it off with those 2 dots. And then we're going to come down here. That one, I just noticed I drew right by that. See, you're along for it all. Mistakes and everything. All right, that dot. Then to that one. This is your waist, your natural waist. And this here is the bottom of the garment. And we're coming around here. Up here, and then we have our neck. Same idea. I'm going to aim for, did I miss a dot here? Or am I just not seeing it because the sun came on? Got that one. I think I missed it, so I'm going to go back and put that one on and finish drawing my lines. All right, so we got there in the end. I hadn't missed the dot, but what I did was I made a mistake at the very beginning, and this should have been my dart here, this dot. This is the top, right by your neck. So X'd out those ones, X'd out my mistake over there. So this is your natural waistline, and this here, dash line, is your center front. This here is because it's a vest that's meant to be buttoned, so your button placement will go along your center front, and this is extra. So key to know when you're trying on the garment. So there it all is. You still would have to add seam allowance, and you would do this dart here according to your preference for your body. All right, so now there's blue lines. What are the blue lines? So the orange, I drafted the whole thing just based on my bust, which would be equivalent to buying a pattern in your size or printing off from a PDF just your size. And then you would typically have to grade out for your hips or your waist. So this system only takes into account your bust and your hip, or as they say, the largest measurement on your top half from waist up, and then your largest measurement from waist down. So the blue is if I were to have drafted from the waist, so the waist is my bust, but anything underneath with my hip measurement. So as you can see, it comes down a bit longer, starts to come out a bit wider, changes the bit of the center front, and so this blue dotted line is now my center front, and that's for the placket there. So basically, it's like grading between sizes without having to grade in between sizes. So I just thought I'd show the comparison, because that's the unique thing about this system is you're already taking into account your measurements as you draft. So the next thing I need to do is add seam allowance. Sorry if I'm out of breath. I've got my camera up on on my kitchen chair, and I'm going up and down making these little videos. So what I'm going to do is, this is the tailor curve that came with the set that I bought, but you can use just any old ruler or anything and add your seam allowance all the way around. And I would do 1 centimeter. My felt is too big for that, but I would just line up every time there's a dot, the edge of the circle there, and make another little marking there and there and here. Oh, wrong one. Here, here, and then go around and connect those dots to make your seam allowance. So for your test, if this is solely just a test, you don't need to add seam allowance to the front here, because you're not actually doing the button placket, and you don't need to add seam allowance to your bottom, but you're going to want technically not even your arm's eye here either, because there's no sleeve and you're not finishing it off. So you want your seam allowance on your side seams and up here on your shoulder seams. Ignore everything else if this is solely just for you to fit and see how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and do the back, not filming it. And then probably the next video I film will be of actually having the test garment and seeing how it fits and doing the waist darts. Alright, so here's the finished vest. Here's the back, and the side, and the front. So the darts look good, in line with my bust point. I'm happy with those. Happy with the shoulders. And the back fits good. I don't have the waist darts in, and I decided I'm going to skip them for a couple reasons. One, got a bit of a bump, and this isn't going to be a finished garment, so I'm not going to fret about trying to perfect the darts on it. But the waist line is here, and if I wanted to be really finicky, it's hard to tell through the bump, but I think it would normally be about like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch higher, so something that I'll keep in mind if it's a fitted garment that I'm doing out of the book. Also remember, your center front was this line that had the button placket, and this was extra, so I drew lines on both so I could match them up while pinning, so I could make sure that it was lined up. Here's the arm's eye. Happy with that. And the side seam falls down on my side. And yeah, so if I was adding the darts, I'll do another video with the pattern pieces showing how I would do picking up the darts for that. So stay tuned. Alright, so some things you want to check on your pattern before you sew it up is you want to measure this part of the shoulder and this part of the shoulder and make sure that it matches this shoulder length so that when you sew up this dart, these line up. You also want to check your side seams and make sure those match. On the test fabric you're using, I would recommend drawing out the waistline, the natural waistline, so you can see how it compares to your waistline. And this line here, so you know what the center front is, so you can line those up, because this is extra. So this is what you're lining up to test. Now, to figure out for your waist darts, which I skipped, but if you're putting them in, I would measure. So remember, these are without seam allowance. I cut these out without seam allowance so it's not confusing for the video. So I would measure your waist here and your waist here and add those together and multiply it by 2, right? Because you're going to have 2 of these and this is cut on the fold. So 2 of these is the waist round, but only measure up to the line, your center front line. Don't measure past. That will tell you how big around this garment is for your waist. Then measure your natural waist and then subtract the 2. For this, I believe I wrote it on another piece of paper. It was 21 centimeters ease is what I believe it was, based on my pre-pregnancy natural waist, which I can't really find right now, and it's changing all the time anyways. So I would then divide, it depends on what your goal is. If this is, you want to wear this vest, then you're going to want more ease at the waist. If you want to use this so it's like a sloper, so it's completely fitted to you, then you're going to want no ease. So no ease means like no give in the fabric. You're not going to want to wear this if it doesn't have ease. But if you're using it to compare all patterns to or to even draft from, you're going to want no ease at the waist. So whatever amount of ease, like whatever amount you want the finished waist to be, I would divide that by 4, because you're going to have 2 back darts and a dart on each of the front. And then figure out your placement of where you would want it. On the front, most likely will line up along with the bust point straight down. Back about 1/3 of the way in from the back fold is kind of where I would try it out. And then draw in that amount that we had divided by 4 for each one, and then draw it up and down to nothing at both of them. And try that out. Baste it in and or pin it in even, and play around with what works for you. As I said in the other one, if I was being nitpicky, I would raise this up between 1/2 to 1 inch based on where I'm guessing my natural waist would be, because I do feel like it was a little bit off, but I'm not being nitpicky on this because I'm not going to be doing any fitted garments until after the baby. So hopefully that helped answer some questions. Drop me any more in the comments and I'll try and help you sort that out. And soon Chris from Sew Notes will have her vest up, and when she does, I will come back and link it into this video so you can go check out hers as well. Thanks for watching.